we give of advice and data, and you guys need to make your own decisions. So this is one of kind of our founding principles, this book. Have you read this book? Have you?
I've listened to
parts of it?
Yeah.
Okay, have you?
I'm reading it right now.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, so he says the poor and the middle class work for money, the rich have money work for them.
And we have a few other books. I've got these from a financial planner if you guys want to learn how money works. So Karin and I developed our 5 steps to successful real estate investing, which you'll see behind me. This class is really going to cover a bit of each of these. So we'll jump into that. And then below that just shows kind of the things that we offer that we talked about already on your sheet. How do you make money in real estate? 4 ways. They're all up here. So cash flow. What is cash flow? Money coming in. Yep, it's all money, all your cash coming in on your real estate investment minus all cash going out. And including your mortgage, if you have a mortgage, it's included in that. A lot of people, when they think about how they make money in real estate, they think of cash flow as the only way you make money. Well, it's not the only way. It is a good way to see the money monthly, though, because you're going to see it in your pocket on those months. The next is appreciation. So as your house increases in value due to supply and demand, your house will be worth more than it was prior. So that's a way when your value of your home increases over time, your value of investment property increases, you're going to make money off of that. Denver typically in the last 30 years has been about 6% average depreciation. I would say probably the next few years might be a little lower than that. Nationally, it's usually around 3.9. So another way to make money. And then tax savings. A lot of people don't think about the tax benefits of this. There are ways to make money that you're not taxed on. And it gets very complicated past that, so we're not going to go into those details. We have a CPA that comes and presents for us that gets to the nitty and gritty, but that's the high level. There's a way you can make income, you can get cash in your pocket and not pay tax on that income, and that times your tax rate is just some additional savings that you get. And finally, principal, buy down, pay down. So if you're cash flow positive, who's paying your debt down? Are you paying it? Your tenant's paying it. So it's an additional way. But do you realize you don't realize these two until you sell, typically. You can pull equity out and have a benefit from it, but until you sell, that's when you realize that. So 4 ways, I call it cat pee. So you guys can remember. It's my new thing because it's been so hard to always remember this. But and my little spiel is just like you should consider cat pee on the value of your home when you accept that tenant who's got cute little furry cats who are litter trained. You should also consider cat pee when you're making your buying and selling decisions. So hopefully that'll help you guys remember that one. So is that why you choose to invest, just for this? Or are there other reasons? So a lot of people would say, I just want to make money. But for what? I always ask. Because we as humans, we like to do things for a why, not necessarily just for making money. So it's really good to understand your why. Is it you want to retire 10 years early and you need $10,000 a month in cash flow? Is it you want to have your kids inherit and not pay any taxes? Because right now, if your properties, you depreciate those properties down. If you were to sell them before you die, you pay a lot of tax. But if your kids inherit them, they get them tax-free. Is that your goal, to have generational wealth? So knowing your why is important to being successful in real estate investing. So that's always step number one on how you get there. And we actually go through all of this with you. We ask you some questions to help you understand what your why is. And then what's your where. A lot of people, when they first come to us, will say, where's the best places to buy real estate investing? And the answer is, where do you want to buy? Like, it depends. You can make money anywhere. You can make money on real estate in any city. So it's more about where you're comfortable buying. Can you manage it from here? I was talking earlier for some of you, like, I am a really bad property manager. I'll never manage mine. But you still have to even if I have a property manager, I still have to manage the property manager, right? So is this location somewhere that I can do my job as a business owner of these real estate investments? So coming to questions to understand where you're comfortable at is important before you get going. And it's specific to you. It doesn't have to do with some blog you see on Bigger Pockets, or, your uncle said it worked for him. Those are good to consider, but we really drill in to help you understand your specific where. And then the last thing is what do you want to buy? Some people say, give me a fourplex. I want a fourplex to start. Some people are like, I'll never buy a fourplex. And that's okay, because you can actually make money with buying 1-bedroom, 1-bath condos. People do it. So it's more about aligning what you're comfortable with and then going and getting it and finding the ones that actually make money in that little box that you're comfortable with. Is it the price point you're comfortable with? Is it the monthly mortgage payment that you're comfortable with if you have vacancy and you have no one paying rent? So using different tools like that to really drill down to what you're comfortable with first before actually going out and looking. Okay, so then we get into the how. So we have this spreadsheet, this investor analysis spreadsheet that I told you about. So once we know your why, your what, your where, then we will go and it's time to find the property, right? And it's got to meet it. And part of your why is financial. So a lot of the stuff you see in here is financial. So this is a tool this is the input tab on this spreadsheet tool. And everything in blue, you can actually update, make your changes yourself. We've locked down everything else so you don't have to worry about messing up the formulas. This is all the data you need to actually do your financial analysis. And what it does is it outputs this. This part right here is just a blown up of that because I figured it'd be too small. But those 4 things we talked about earlier, your cat P, although I think I called it reduction. I need to change that so it fits the cat P. But all 4 of those things, it actually calculates that for you. It gives you numbers over here of what it is. It gives you can run 2 different scenarios. So say you're buying and it has investors or tenants in it currently. It's way under market rent. You could show in the current tab what that looks like, because it's going to take a while. You can't kick people out if there's a lease in place when you buy a property. And then it shows you can put potential. Well, I know market rent's $500 more. I'm going to put that in this model and see what it looks like if I do that. Or maybe you're wanting to compare, should I offer 300,000 or 350, and then see how the numbers change. What if appreciation is 0? You can put that in there and see how the numbers change. All the things on the front, you can just kind of plug and play to get to
and
see
we don't
numbers.
just like give this to you and say, here you go, you're on your own. We meet with you and walk you through it. Like we're meeting next week to go through some properties with Adria. So
yeah, and I think we're doing an open meeting, right? So if anyone is interested in diving down into how to use this spreadsheet, it also shows you 5-year trends too for both. We're doing a special meeting with Adrian. We're opening it up to anyone who wants to come learn. We're going to actually walk through this step by step and model out. So that's next Wednesday at 6:30, I think, here.
That sounds right.
But is this about like the properties that you own? Like potential properties that you're about
It works better with the properties that you're looking at to buy. Can you use this? Yes. If there's a mortgage, it kind of gets interesting because it's going to start, you're going to have to play with numbers. We can help you do, if there's an analysis on a current property you own, we can run that for you though separately.
No, I mean, I asked because I don't own a property.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it
No,
was
this is for
potential
buying.
properties,
Yep.
Then yeah, that'd be great.
This is potential property. So if you're saying, okay, this property meets all of my descriptions of my why, what, where. Now let's see if those numbers actually meet my expectations as it comes to these returns. Yeah. And what do I offer? You use it to offer, right? If you want to hit certain numbers, you only offer whatever the spreadsheet tells you. You may not get it, depending on market, but and then know the rental market. So Karin and I have a ton of tools to help you understand what the rental market is. And we also have a property manager that has a separate tool that can run numbers for us. So the key is using as much data as you can to truly understand what your rental market is. Is it good right now? Is it going to be good 5 years from now? So that's important to know as you're searching. The sales market. So you could plug in the tool and it says, well, to hit your numbers, you can offer 300,000, but 15 buyers want to pay 400,000 for the house. Are you going to get it? Probably not, right? So that's what really Karin and I can help with. All these ways of looking at the market down to your specific neighborhood. What are the odds of selling? What are over asking prices? Those kind of things. So when you're using that tool and you're trying to figure out whether it's something you want to offer on, we've got that data for your support. Because you don't want to pay too much, right? That would be because really whatever you pay for it really sets the tone for returns in the long run on your property. All right, Karin,
Okay.
take over.
So let's talk a little bit about managing your rental property. So some people choose to manage their rental property themselves. And so my husband and I own 3 properties, including our primary residence. One we manage ourselves, and then one we have a property manager. And there's lots of stories with the one we manage ourselves. But with a property manager, a lot of people, even like if they start out managing it themselves, they eventually move to a property manager. Even just things like changes in laws for your lease, keeping up with all of that can be a full-time job. And so sometimes, it's just easier to hire a property manager. And we have great property managers that we can connect you with, or, questions to ask property managers when you're interviewing them. Because just like all realtors aren't created the same, all property managers aren't as well. So managing your own property to maximize returns. So like our property that we manage ourselves, the first time we went through one of these classes, after a class, I was like, oh, Amy, I'm not doing a good job managing my property, because I could just saw myself kind of got caught up in, we have a great tenant, we don't want to lose her, so we're not raising the rent. And that happened over and over and over. And then we found ourselves, significantly below market value for rent. And so we had to go and make some changes with that, which worked out. We didn't lose her, and she, paid what we asked. So that was great. But another thing, like when you're trying to get your property rented in the beginning and screening clients. So we were, managing our own property, and my husband was there meeting clients, showing them our property, and took different, applications. And there was probably about 5 applications for this one. And we looked at one and we started making some phone calls, and then she called us and she said, so I'm pregnant, I'm a single mom, can I move in and not pay any rent for 6 months? You know, and it's like, I mean, we care about people, but we have to pay our bills. We have 4 boys to feed, you know, so just stories like that. So when we bought our second property, it's actually short-term rental, and so I can't be a mom, a wife, and a full-time realtor and manage a short-term rental, and so we have a property manager on that one, and that's been amazing. Last Christmas, when it was like 40 below zero for a few days, and this was in Tennessee, this property is in Tennessee, and the pipes froze. And in Tennessee, that doesn't hardly ever happen. We had renters in the property. It was Christmas, and how do you find a plumber and get it fixed? And these people are staying in the property and they don't have any water. But our property manager took care of it all. We enjoyed Christmas with our family. And so, I kind of have both sides of that. So, and then I just have a quick, short little video. Is that?
Do you want me to help you find it?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And then while she's pulling that up, it's really important, just like we realized that we were, under renting our property. It's really important to analyze your property every year, not just once and be done.
Oh no. Why is it not there now? Let me see if I hit play.
Have you guys heard any horror stories about property managers or rentals? That's good. That's good. Yeah.
I think I've heard that.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
In terms of searching for open units.
Right. Getting it rented right away. Yep. Yep. And that's why we have like a whole questionnaire for interviewing a property manager, because really property managers, they do different things depending on who they are and how much they charge. So
Yeah, a good question for that is asking them if they own rental property. Because if they own rental property, they're going to probably know the pain of vacancy personally, and they're probably going to address it differently.
Yeah, and that's an important question too for asking, a realtor. If you're, thinking about buying investment property and your realtor doesn't own investments, it's just a different situation. So,
or at least learning.
Yep.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Oh,
You
I
can.
did full screen.
You grew? I remember it was late, and I needed to escape, so I went away. Now you discovered I moved out, maybe even skipped town. Feels like trying to find me now. Remember all the things that were dirty first, and now that we reimbursed. Remember all the things that were broken first. You got me like this, and now you're taking money from my deposit and having to replace carpet. And now you're taking money from my deposit. You got me like this. You can't take anything you wanted. That money's mine and I deserve it. I want it back. I want it back. Want it back. Holes in the walls.
Is that kind of property you guys want?
When I moved in, it looked like that. I want it back. I want it back. Want it back. Please, that stain isn't from me. It wasn't my pet that peeve. I swear I never even had one here. Roaches, I never saw one. That problem's just begun. Please ignore the dirt and scum. Remember all the things that were dirty first, and I won't be reading first. Remember all
You want me
the
to stop
things
it?
That's good. Yeah. So again, just important to have your systems in place or to have a good property manager with good systems. And so yeah, again, just analyzing it every year. How did you do? Does this property still make sense? Sometimes it makes sense to sell it and do something different with your investing. But it's just important to keep analyzing it and not just put it on autopilot.
Yeah, just like, you get at work reviews annually. Like you're kind of reviewing yourself. There's something I could have done differently. And is it time did I buy the wrong property? Is it time to change it out? And we can help with that investor consultation we talked about. We can actually sit you down and we'll help you reevaluate it and say, here's how your property did. What are your next goals? Does selling this property and reinvesting it somewhere else make more sense?
And we do it for each other and for other agents.
Some of them earlier that.
Yeah. So like I've met with her and her husband and done investor consultation, and she's met with us, and it just helps you analyze your goals and if you're reaching them.
Yeah. If you walk into a property like that, you might really, in that video, you might want to reassess your management skills, because that should have been caught way before it looked like that.